Let's do it. This is official.
Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Brittany.
Jonny McFadden. He's one of my best guy friends. We've known each other since we were really young, and he has got really cool story. Yeah, I'll just get right into it. So the first question is, what was your substance or substances that you used to be addicted to?
I would say I'm still not substances. I would still say I'm addicted to a lot of things. I would say my go-to was smoking pot, surprisingly. I love smoking pot. I was high all day, every day in college and after college. I graduated college thinking I would be an adult, and that didn't happen. And then drinking was always a big one because it was just so it's easy to get. I know pot's legal now, but 8 years ago when I was still using, it was not legal. So yeah, I mean, pot was the one thing I could smoke pot and still function. So that was kind of my go-to. I usually didn't do anything during the work hours, but like as soon as the 8 hour workday was over, it was drinking and smoking pot. I would pretty much dabble in anything, nothing that's like no heroin, no meth or anything, but
Mhm.
just fun college stuff like mushrooms and that here and there. But yeah, it wasn't so much like the substance, it was just like the mind altering, like altering my mind. That
Mhm.
was like anything that would do that, I was game. Like, and I don't know. And again, that's even today, like could be donuts, could be working out, could be work.
Yeah. But when did it kind of like, I know maybe it started in college, but when did it start becoming like, when did it switch over where you were like, oh, this is like a problem?
Yeah, I remember very vividly. I don't I think it was my sophomore year. Was it? Yeah, it was like my sophomore or junior year. And I remember I had bought Adderall, which everyone does in college to study. And I bought like, I don't know, like five off a guy. And I was like, wow, this is gonna last me all semester. And it was gone in 4 days. And I was like, and then I remember that was kind of like the first time I was like, wait a minute, this is because honestly, I'd never been. I mean, you knew me in high school. I was like pretty straight. I mean, I would drink maybe a couple times a year at like New Year's, have a big party. But did sports, got straight A's. I was pretty straight laced. And then when I screwed up my back, I didn't really care about like sports anymore. And then that kind of opened it because I always liked getting drunk and getting high. It was just like I had other priorities, and I'd never really been addicted to anything. And that was the first time I felt like even like I would chew tobacco, but I never really felt like addicted to chewing tobacco. And I remember like all of a sudden I was just kind of like, oh, this is like the first time I've dealt with anything where I felt like it was a little bit out of my control. And then it wasn't so concerning for me to actually like try and stop. I did go to a counselor at college, an addiction counselor, thinking like, I didn't know anything about addiction. So I went and I was thinking, I was like, I'll do a couple sessions and I'll be good and I can just start drinking normally and stuff. And then I remember my senior year, it really got away from me because I would just like drink like whenever. Like I would smoke pot because again, I could smoke pot and go to class and like take notes and somewhat function. But then like when I would run out of pot, I would just like you could buy a handle of vodka really cheap. And then I had a bunch of friends around me, all great friends, but we all kind of
Cooler.
like to party a little bit too much. And yeah, a lot of my friends are sober now too, which is kind of funny. It's like they're all either sober or I don't really talk to them. Not because like they're not sober. It's just kind of like I don't know. We don't really have that. We don't have that in common anymore. But yeah, I would say like sophomore year to senior year was when I really started to notice it, and then like it became pretty apparent when I graduated that it followed me home. I remember I graduated and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I can go home and I can be normal now because I'm not in a fraternity or whatever. And it just did not happen that way. I went home and it was like the only difference was I was drinking alone, which was like that's when you really start to notice because you're like, wait a minute. Like I was living with Ricky, as you know, and like I remember like he would be at work and he would come home and I would like be drunk already and he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Or I would like hide it, which was also not good.
Mhm.
Uh yeah. So that was when I really like I was like, okay, this might be an issue.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And I guess the next question is, why do you think that you used these substances the way that you did?
I've thought of that a lot of times. I think it's just my personality. Like again, like if you look at the Irish side of my family, like it's all either alcoholics or recovering alcoholics, mostly recovering alcoholics, luckily. But I think it was really just like genetic because like even looking back before I used substances, I still had the same behavioral patterns. Like I would work out. Sage, you're crazy. Like she's done. She's done with this interview. Like because again, like I remember my junior and senior. Like I remember in high school, I would work. I had my first class of the day was a workout. Was weightlifting,
Mhm.
and I would wake up and I would work out before class, and then I'd go to school and work out for my first class, and then I would go to practice afterwards, and then I would like work out again when I got home. And so it was like it was just it was always there. It was just like healthy stuff. And I even do that today. Like
You
I
get,
typically
like, really into something and then, like, do it all the time and
yeah, I don't yeah, and I don't know if I can achieve balance or not. We'll see. I'm kind of okay being unbalanced as long as it's towards healthy stuff.
totally.
Yeah, so I don't see it as a problem. I almost see it as like a benefit because when I can point it in the right direction, I go really fast and far, but when I'm not pointing it in the right direction, that's where issues arise. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with me and say, "Oh, it's all about balance." I no, I think it's
You can use that, like, kind of addiction obsession for, like for good, I feel like.
yeah, I mean, if you look at anyone who's like really great at something, they go a little overboard. You know what
Totally.
I mean?
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that mentality. I think I totally agree too that you can use your like anything that's like seems like a weakness, it can be flipped into a strength if you're
Yeah, like I even see not I see being sober now as like a big strength just in life. It's a little awkward when I'm like out with like work stuff and everyone's drinking and like, but again, like no one really like no one. It's funny because in college, like college was the only time where it'd be like, oh come on, you should drink. We're drinking, but like that doesn't really happen as an adult. And if it does, it's like you're probably in the wrong crowd. Like
oh,
if you're in your mid 30s and someone's like trying to force you to drink, like, change scenery. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I did because again, like I don't know. There's no negatives to it. I wake up, I feel pretty good every day. Like I go to bed at a decent time, I get good sleep. Like I don't see any downsides to not drinking, and I'm just as social as I was. I'm actually more social than when I was drinking heavily because when you drink alone, you don't really like I don't know. You
you're
don't go out
isolating
much.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, did you have like a aha moment or like what was your major wake up call that made you want to change or know that you needed to change and get sober?
There were a lot of like mini aha moments, I felt like. I think the day that I finally like asked for help, I was drunk because I wasn't gonna ask for help sober. That would be ridiculous. So I had gotten really, really drunk. Like I was drinking like a handle of vodka a night.
Wow.
And
Shit.
and yeah, I just remember like I think I was like 23 and I was so drunk the following morning because I literally was by myself. It was like a fucking like Wednesday or Monday or something. And I was so drunk from the night before just from sitting in my room drinking that I like was like I can't go to work. And that was kind of like a wake up call and I remember I texted my mom at like I think it was like 5 in the morning and I was like my mom. I was like, "Hey mom, think I have a drinking problem. LOL." I don't think I said
LOL.
LOL, but I didn't really know what else to do because I was like, I'm like so fucked at this point.
Right.
And then, because I like literally like I could not function. That was like one of the first times it was like, okay, this is
Like you
like
were a functioning alcoholic and it started tipping into the non-functioning.
yeah. And there were certain times where like I would be like too drunk and I would just call into work sick, but like I had done that a lot, and I was like, okay, like this, I'm obviously like you can only call into work sick so many times and they believe you. Um, And if you do it like a bunch of times in like a couple months, they're definitely not going to believe you probably even the second time because no one gets sick that much. So I remember that was kind of like, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. So I mean, there were a bunch of other things going on. Like I was actually planning on moving to Arizona at that point, and I had lined up a job down here and I had to pass a drug test and I couldn't, so that meant I couldn't smoke pot for like a month. And that like just, I think that led my drinking to be like 10 times worse because instead of being able to smoke pot and like wake up and be a little groggy in the morning, but I could still go to work and be sober for the next 8 hours. But like once pot got taken away because I had a drug test coming up, it was like then the drinking really took off. And yeah, so I think I don't know what the exact aha moment was, but that happened. And I went home. My parents didn't know what to do. And I remember they were like surprised, but not surprised because they were kind of like, they were like, you just haven't really been the same as you used to be like lately. And they're like, we just thought you would change, like whatever. They were like, they were kind of like, I think they were almost kind of relieved. They were like, it kind of makes sense now, like why you were being the way you were. Yeah, so I was at home and then basically they were like, they didn't really know what to do. So they had like removed all alcohol from the house, but just trying to keep me sober. And then, they forgot about this like wine rack that was kind of like hidden away. It wasn't hidden away, but it was kind of like hidden in plain sight. Like we just didn't, my family doesn't drink wine. So no one ever thought about it. I thought about it. So wait, yeah, so I don't really remember exactly what happened, but I ended up drinking just like a shit ton of wine and like blacking out in like the middle of the day. And my dad came home, and I remember I had just woken up and like he threw a bag at me with clothes in and said, "Get in the car. We're going to rehab." I was like, "Okay." And I remember I actually on the way out of the door, I found some NyQuil and drank it because I was like starting to sober up, and that was a bad idea because then I was really tired. So then we
Yeah.
like drove, and it was during rush hour, so that was fun. So then we drove like down to St. Louis, and we didn't really know where we were going. Luckily, I ended up at Center Point, which was a really good hospital, but I was in detox. Anyone who's ever been to detox, it's not fun. You're trapped in there with a bunch of people who are detoxing. There's a lot of people who have like mental health issues. You're like, you can't even have strings. Like they take the strings. You feel like you're in an insane asylum. And so that wasn't fun. And I remember I was like so depressed. I just like, I like literally just like slept for 2 days. Like I like, couldn't get out of bed. Finally got out of bed. My parents, I think the real aha moment was my parents were basically like, thank God they did this. I was like, I'm not going because the option was either go to like the treatment center part and go to or not just leave. And I was like, well, I can get sober on my like I recognized I had a problem, but I was like, I can get sober on my own, like, rehabs for people who don't have any willpower, blah blah blah. And so my parents were like, you don't have to go. They were trying to get me to go. They're like, you don't have to go, but you're not coming home. And at that point it was like, okay, I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I was like, so I'm literally going to have to choose between being a homeless person or like swallowing my pride and going to rehab for 2 weeks. So luckily I went to rehab for 2 weeks. There's a really weird guy in there and he was like, oh yeah, it's really nice over there. Like it's part of the same hospital. And he's like, it's really nice over there. And I did not like this guy at all. But when he said that, I was kind of like, okay, maybe I was thinking it was the same as detox. And I was like, I'm not doing
Okay.
another 2 weeks. It was very different from detox. Yeah, so that went well. And then went there, got sober. It took me 2 more times, but third time it stuck.
Sure.
Here I am.
And, what was the biggest help or support for you when you were first getting sober?
I would say, hmm, Sylvester. No, my cat for
You
anyone
do love
listening.
your cats.
I mean, besides my family, obviously, I would say like I think AA was really helpful. I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest fan of AA. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot I don't agree with in AA, but it just gives you like something to do, somewhere to go, someone to talk to. Everyone can relate. So yeah, and again, like not everyone can afford like counseling and stuff, and I mean, you can just go for free. You're supposed to give $1, but if you can't give $1, no one's gonna care. And I felt like that kind of gave me some like structure, and you were basically with people who had been sober a long time. So like I did like the whole sponsor thing. Went through the 12 steps. Yeah, I'm not your traditional AA person. Like I haven't gone in forever, but I'm like forever grateful for it just because I think without that it would be very, very hard to get sober because you're just sitting by yourself, especially I mean, once you graduate from college, like you go to work and like if you're in the same city, you might have friends, but like those friends probably still drink. And so it kind of gave me like an outlet and like a social like structure and social and like some like guidance. I would say like give me a lot of guidance on like what to do. And again, I didn't listen to everything they said.
But yeah, it gave you
Yeah.
like a launching point for
Yeah.
what you would
Yeah. So
normal.
yeah, and there's some other things out there. Like there's NA was good. NA like AA is just so prevalent. Like, a lot of people go to AA who are like not like alcohol was not their like drug of choice, but it's just like AA is everywhere. I don't know. And then NA is great. It's like basically it's very similar. And then there's like something called Smart Recovery, which was supposed to be more like I don't know, like more like secular, less focus on like the higher power and all that. But again, there weren't that many meetings, and so like I went to one of those one time, and I was kind of like, it's like I mean, there was an AA club like right by my house, so it was just really easy to go to, and it's I don't know, I saw a lot of a lot of people, not a lot, but I saw a couple of friends' dads there and stuff that I was like, oh, I didn't know you were sober. So it was, yeah, it was just a good, really good community, I think.
And do you ever have any cravings anymore?
Not really, no. Definitely not for alcohol. I'm kind of mad they legalized pot because I can't smoke anymore. And that would have made things a lot easier. I probably wouldn't be sober if they had legalized pot. I'd probably still be smoking pot. I mean, I really don't get cravings surprisingly. My cravings tend to be more like donuts. And so yeah, I mean, no, I don't really get cravings. Yeah, I think it was life was just so shitty when I was like drinking and smoking pot that it was pretty I just have to like keep that in the back of my mind. Like always remember there's no because I've tried multiple I like again I relapsed a couple times before I it stuck and it was like 'Cause I think whenever you get sober, you're kinda like you always have in the back of your mind, like, "Oh, I can do a little bit, I can do it," and so but then, like, you try it, and it becomes very apparent, like, immediately. Like, I remember I thought I could just smoke a little bit of pot, and I took, like, 1 hit, and it was just, like, literally, I was drinking vodka the next day. So it became very apparent to me. So, yeah, I mean, I don't say I never get cravings, but they're very, very few and far between. And I'm usually able to be like, snap myself out of it. I wouldn't even say snap myself out of it, but it's I always keep in the front of my mind, like, you don't function on any substances.
Yeah, totally. And how long have you been sober now?
8 years, 9 years
Wow,
in March, like 8 and a half, yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah. I got my you've seen my tattoo,
Yes!
I actually turned it into, 1 for every 2 years because
Okay,
the first one got kinda messed up. The first one, like,
I
the
like that.
initial guy kinda messed it up, and I was like, "Eh," so I went to someone, and we were looking at how to fix it. You didn't really notice it, but it bugged me enough. Plus, it looked like tallies, and people were always like, "Oh, what are you counting?" And then it's like, I don't mind telling people I'm sober, but I'm like, if friggin', the waitress at the restaurant asked me, I don't wanna, like, "Oh, I've been sober 8 years," and they're like, "Oh, congratulate," and then they feel like you, like, shared some big secret with them, and it's just weird. This is more like I was like, "Oh, I like" it's just a cool pattern. There's some band called, like, the Black Flag or something, that
Okay.
apparently that's their symbol, so I keep getting asked if I'm a Black Flag fan. I'm 10 years sober, and I can not have that anymore, but yeah, so it'll be 9 years in March.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are very happy about that, myself included.
I like to think so. Yeah, family's thrilled.
And what would you say to somebody struggling with addiction or someone in early recovery?
It's a lot, I would say. I would say, first and foremost, it's okay to ask for help. I feel like there's this stigma, and I even feel this way still, that it's like a willpower issue. Like, oh, that person's just like mentally weaker than other people. And again, like there's a lot of gray area between like willpower and like addiction, I feel like. And I mean, at some point it is willpower, but like I think once you become like there's some switch, and once you flip a switch, willpower is completely irrelevant.
Mhm.
'Cause, like, I've always had really good, like, willpower in terms of, like, waking up early, working out, like, well, at least for the most part, and so, like, that I've never struggled with, like, normal things, but for some reason with alcohol, it was like I mean, they say it's a disease, and I think it's just, like, something in your brain, like, it's just not it's, like, completely irrational, and so I think that was the biggest thing for me getting sober was "Why" I was like, "I can't admit that I can't fix this myself," like, that would be some pussy shit right there. And so but that was seriously like that I think that kept me from getting sober for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Then I was also really worried. I was like, "What am I gonna do when I get sober?" And I think, like, again, I'm as social as I wanna be. I'm definitely not as social as I used to be, but I'm definitely more social than I was when I was drinking and smoking heavily. So, yeah, I mean, those are kinda like the 2 main things, and I would say also, like, with AA, it's like it's not religious, but it's spiritual, and there's a higher power and all that, and that definitely turned me off. To be honest, it still kinda turns me off today, but, like, you just kinda have to suck it up and be like, "You know what? This is really, really helpful for me," and, like, I don't have to agree with everything they say. I don't have to and again, like, in the program, I think a lot of people would disagree with me, but again, it's like, take what you need and, like, leave the rest at the door. Because like, the whole higher power thing is really just about knowing you're not in control, which kinda goes back to, like, the whole willpower. It's like knowing that, like, you can't there's a lot you can't control, and it's kinda about just about, like,
Humbling
letting things
yourself.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think, yeah, sober life is pretty good. It's kind of becoming trendy now almost.
You
I was like,
started a
I
trend.
was doing it before it
Such
was
a
cool.
trendsetter.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take credit for that. Yeah, but there's, like, Sober
Awesome.
October and, yeah,
That's
all these,
true.
like it's kind of a trendy thing, and, like, the non-alcoholic beer is really big, and I drink Athletic Brewing Company sometimes, non-alcoholic beer.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I like that brand.
yeah, it tastes pretty good, and I sometimes I feel like a can of Athletic Brewing Company is healthier than, like, 4 Diet Cokes. And
I agree with that.
so sometimes when I'll go out, like, if I'm out drinking with people, and again, like, I don't really miss drinking at all. I really don't. Like, I feel like it just made me tired. It's like if I'm out drinking with people, like, I'll either drink, like, an Athletic Brewing Company and, like, enjoy because it tastes good. I don't really like beer that much, but Athletic Brewing Company is actually pretty tasty, and, it's like that or, like, 4 Diet Cokes, and, like, if I drink 4 Diet Cokes, I just feel like garbage, and so I'm kinda like it's almost like a health decision at that point, and I
Yeah.
was a little nervous at first that I was like, "Oh, it tastes like beer. Is that gonna, like, trigger blah, blah, blah?" And so the first time I did drink it, I, like, made sure I was around my family and stuff, but, like, yeah, and then again, I don't really drink it unless I'm, like, out and, like, it's if it's between that and 4 Diet Cokes, I'll usually do an Athletic Brewing Company, but I still do drink Diet Cokes occasionally, AKA all the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, That was all the questions I had for you. And speaking of willpower, though, I wanted to talk about your awesome app.
Smooth segue, smooth segue.
Thanks. If you could talk about it a little bit,
Yeah.
talk better than me.
Yeah, it's called Neuro-Nudge. It's kind of a I'm hoping it makes me rich at some point, but it's really just a passion project. If it ends up just breaking even, I'll be very happy if it just people end up using it. It's basically an app that is geared towards training your willpower like a muscle. And again, this is like I want to completely separate this from addiction. Like I don't it's completely it's two different things, two sides of the same coin maybe, but it's not for addiction. I think people who maybe are addicts might find it useful like once they get sober, but it's definitely not a cure for addiction. So I definitely want to put that out there. But it's really about getting people outside their comfort zone, which I think is something like is really, really bad, especially as like today it's easy to just sit inside and be on your phone and just get those dopamine hits and like not leave your house. And again, like I feel like in 10 years, everyone's gonna be what's that movie? Is it like Wally, where everyone's like in a bubble or
Yeah.
like I feel like that's where we're moving. And so it was inspired by a podcast, Andrew Huberman or Huberman, I'm not sure how you say his last name, and he had Mr. David Goggins, who's a total badass, and I love David Goggins, and the app, and they were talking about basically doing stuff you don't like to do and the importance of that. And Andrew Huberman brought kind of a neuroscience perspective to it and said there's actually been a lot of there's been some research that shows there's parts of your brain, particularly the I'm going to butcher it, not a neuroscientist, mid cingulate anterior mid cingulate cortex, and there's other areas of your brain too that are involved in willpower, but basically when you do something you don't want to do, uh, it strengthens that part of your brain. And that's why, like, I'm sure people can relate. Like, if you ever start doing stuff and it sucks, it gets easier over time. And so the idea with the app is it's similar to habit, like tracking habits, but it's a little more flexible than that. And it's also focused on like one of the things in the app is if you've been doing the same, like let's say working out, right? And you do like points from 1 to 3. So if when I do an activity, I'll rank 1, 2, or 3 on how challenging it was. So like if I work out and I've been working out every day, I'll just give myself a 1. But like the app will notify you, well not yet, but when there's push notifications, it will notify you like, hey, you've marked this as a 1 the last 10 times. Maybe like try and up the challenge a little bit. Yeah, so essentially it's a way to continually get outside your comfort zone. And so it's basically like through doing these activities and continually challenging yourself, you're strengthening the area of your brain responsible for willpower. And that should help in pretty much every aspect of life. To be honest, I'm not as consistent with it as I would like. Even as I don't pretend to be, um, anything I'm not. And so again, I still struggle with getting outside my comfort zone. But I think that's kind of the point, is everyone does. And so again, like my dad uses it. He really likes it. He goes a little overboard with it. But it's just, and the problem I've had with the app is it can be applied to so many things,
Mhm.
that I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure where to start, but I think it would really be for anyone who's interested in like any sort of self-development, getting outside their comfort zone, I think is the first step. Because if you think about achieving anything in life, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone. I don't care if it's public speaking. I don't care if it's losing weight. I don't care if it's quitting smoking. Like, I don't care if it's like career progression. Like, you're going to have to do shit you're uncomfortable with.
Ruth.
I think, yeah. Yeah. And I think that it was something I wish I would have realized earlier in life that that the more you're getting outside your comfort zone, the better. And I think knowing that it's backed by like neurological changes, like neuroscience. Sage, my cat. Uh, but again, I think that just for some, because I feel like I kind of knew this intuitively, but for some reason when I heard about, it being like strengthens areas of your brain, it just like clicked, and I was like, that makes sense. I don't know, I like to know why stuff works. And
Mhm.
so I think when I heard that, it kind of like solidified it, and that was what made me build the app. So it's in testing. It's on the App Store, Apple App Store, not on Google yet. Um, should be there shortly. It's free for now. But again, not trying to become the richest man in the world with it, just trying to have an app that people like and share, I think, a philosophy that's worthwhile.
Absolutely. I mean, just like how you build the muscles in our bodies, like building these muscles in our brains, can be really beneficial. Said it's like building confidence, it's building like strength in just growing as humans, and then you're building self-trust probably too, as you're like
Mhm.
kind of like staying committed to something that's a more uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think it's a message that is uh like it's nothing new. It's very closely aligned with like Stoicism philosophy and like kind of like embracing discomfort. But I feel like a lot of that gets like a very like people view that with like a very like, oh, it has to be really hardcore. And again, I think that's great. Like I think that's kind of what attracted me to it in the first place. But as I started doing it, I realized like I was looking at like, family members and like myself, like, you don't have to be like some hardcore, workout fanatic. Like it can literally just be like anything. Like, oh, like, I want to start speaking up in meetings more at work. Like, let me go ahead and make that an activity for me to track. I want to start waking up 30 minutes early and going for a quick walk. Like it doesn't need to be like I'm doing, 1,000 push-ups. It can just be like whatever it is for you, like where that's where you start. And again, it's kind of like the app is built to remind you, like if you kind of have plateaued of like, hey, you know, you've been working out 20 days in a row, that's great, but maybe try and think of a way to make it a little more difficult. Like don't always just go towards the stuff you're good at and you like double down on the stuff that's difficult for you. And I think that's going to be uh a lot better from like a mental growth and just like a personal growth perspective. Because I think people, and again, I'm guilty of this, people just tend to stay where they're comfortable. Like working out for me is like the easy one. I like working out. Like that's not really the difficult thing for me. So I'll work out with like out headphones. But another thing I'll do is like driving. When I drive in the car, sometimes I'll drive without music because like sitting in silence can be really uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
again, like that's just something where I'm like, and again, I don't do it all the time. I listen to plenty of music in the car. But if I have like a 15-minute drive and it's been a hectic day and I'm like, I really want to just like zone out and listen to music, I'll be like, you know what? Let me just drive 15 minutes with no sound and just be uncomfortable. Like
Yeah,
I think that's yeah. And then cold plunges is another one. I'd love we did a cold plunge. I know when you were in Arizona.
yeah.
I'm big on the cold plunges. I can't think of anything more uncomfortable than that. So that's always a good place to start.
Yeah, just kind of like breaking you out of your um habitual way of thinking and being and doing, I guess.
Yeah, and I honestly think if like more people embrace this philosophy, and again, I'm not claiming to have invented anything like this. This is very similar with Stoicism. There's a lot of other people talking about this type of stuff, but I think there's a lot of problems in society that would go away. Like people are just in their bubble. Like they watch the same news shows, they read the same articles, like they seek confirmation bias. And I think it's like really important to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe read something that you disagree with. And when you read it, you may disagree with it still, but like at least you read it. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people and I think society in general would benefit from that because I think all like the algorithms on our phones and on social media, they just give you more of what you want. And they do that because humans like to go towards what they like, what they want. And it's like a so it's almost kind of like it's just biologically like going against the grain. I feel like modern society, it's become very much like there's a lot of companies making a lot of money off of just
Mhm.
reinforcing what's biologically there as humans, which is being more comfortable. Like TikTok videos, right? Oh, 10 seconds, a minute, watch it, right? And it's like, I've even noticed myself, and again, I'm not perfect. I'll watch like Facebook reels and stuff, but
Mhm.
like it's harder to watch like a 3-minute video now. And like it's something like you need to
Right.
be aware of. I think it's like, okay, like that's a problem.
Mhm.
And again, it's just showing like I get cat videos and like stuff that makes me comfortable. And it's really easy to just sit on my couch for an hour and watch those videos, but it's like that's not leading to any sort of growth at all. It's like doing the exact opposite. And so I think there's kind of like an uphill battle uh, that needs to be fought, like when you're talking about all these companies that are making a bunch of money off of
Right.
giving people what they want, like junk food, for example, right? And again, I'm guilty of eating junk food, but that like if you eat a chip, right, you can't just eat one chip. You have to keep eating more. Um, And again, like companies have designed all this stuff to keep you hooked. And I'm not like some big conspiracy theorist. It's just it's a good way to make money, and that's where people kind of go in a capitalist society is like
Right.
the saltier, fattier chip is going to win because people are going to get hooked on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like with technology that's happening with social media. It's going to happen, I think, with like Chat GPT and AI. I think, it kind of gives you what you want. And I think it's a really big problem of people not getting outside their comfort zone. And it's a really simple fix. It's just, I think being aware of it is the first kind of the first thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're putting it out there, and I hope that it catches fire. Try it out if anyone's listening. I know I downloaded it. I like it because I do the same thing, you know. It's like we all just kind of operate on autopilot in some ways, but it's like once you can kind of like push yourself into a different direction, it like can change the whole course of your life, really. Or I don't know. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Sage. I also think it helps with self-awareness, like just being able to listen to the like I don't think I'm crazy, but I have two voices in my head a lot of the time of like, oh, you should eat McDonald's. No, you should go to the gym. And there's like this internal struggle. And like the whole idea behind the app is strengthening the voice that is going against the grain because obviously eating McDonald's is a lot more enjoyable than going to the gym. Um, and so at least initially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits to the app. And again, whether I was doing this originally without an app, I was just tracking it on my phone. So this is, I guess, a shameless plug for my app. And it's in testing phase. So if you download it and it's not working as expected, uh, reach out through the app or send me an email on the website. But um, again, you can do this with a piece of paper. Like you can do this. You don't need to have the app to do it. I built the app because I was doing it, and I was like, it would be really nice if I just had a way to just do a click of a button instead of having to type it out in the notes section on my phone.
Yeah,
So yeah,
totally.
I mean it's again, it's pretty straightforward. If you don't want to do it, you should do it, assuming it's safe. You don't want to do it, and then track it, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for speaking with me today and sharing your story from where how much you've changed over the last like 8 years and what you've gone through. So it's just really inspiring for me to hear and see your own kind of explanations and what you've gone through and what has helped you. And I hope that it helps listeners do the same wherever they are in life and addiction or just, yeah, struggles. So I appreciate you
Yeah, of course.
talking with me. I'm glad
Always to
I
help
finally
out.
nailed it down.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you. Always good to see you. I'm sure we'll be in touch, especially now that you live close in San Diego.
Yes,
You
yes.
have to come see my new house.
I would love to.
You don't have to sleep on the, well, like I said, you will. No, actually, we'll have two beds now, so you can have a bed.
Woo! As long as the cats stay with me
Of
and
course.
still run on my face at night.
Always, always. Yeah. Let me know when it comes out so I can listen to myself talk because,
I will.
that's something very uncomfortable.
Well, we're both helping each other because this is not, this is out of my comfort zone too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. We can both pull out our Neuro-Nudge app and mark it down.
exactly.